A bright and pleasant good morning to the gathering this morning here. Honored and respected special invitee and guest, Dr. I.P. Gautam, who is retired IAS officer and former member Lokpal of India. Our hosts from Pondicherry University, our Director of Studies, Professor K. Tarani Karasu, our host also, Director of Culture, Sir Professor Jain is here, and the coordinator and organizer of this event, Professor Raju, who is taking care of this event as well as who has been successfully occupying the position, serving the position of a Dean International Relations. All the students, the esteemed faculty members, colleagues who are present at this occasion, I am extremely delighted to welcome all of you to this event, which is a part of it's a lecture event which is part of distinguished lecture series on Amrit Kaal-Vimarsh of Viksit Bharat 2047, a developmental dialogue on the campuses of higher education institutions in India. This notion of Viksit Bharat was actually conceptualized and visualized by our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Modi ji, with the idea of mostly instilling a deep sense of pride in our culture and heritage. In this moment, when we are talking about post-colonialism and even decolonial ideologies, we are still talking in terms of the impact that colonization still has on our mindsets, and within which this was conceived within the context of this Viksit Bharat, that is developed nation state of India. This lecture series is being proposed in order to discuss and debate the various developmental policies that the government, various schemes, etc., for poor, empowerment of women, skill enhancement, etc., that the government had put in place. And we are really honored and pleased to welcome our guest today to deliver a lecture who has had a lot of experiential knowledge to share with us. In order to further contextualize and welcome the guest, I would like to invite Professor Raju on the dais.
Good morning to everyone. Respected Dr. I.P. Gautam IAS, former member of Lokpal of India, Professor Tarani Karasu, Director Studies, Professor Rajiv Jain, Director Culture and Cultural Relations, Dr. Vijay Kumar, Librarian, Professor Lazar, Finance Officer, Deans, Heads, faculty members, officers, staff, research scholars, students and friends. I welcome you all to the distinguished lecture by Dr. I.P. Gautam on Amrit Kaal-Vimarsh, Viksit Bharat at 2047. After completion of 75 years of independence, India, we need to look at where we are, how we are going to visualize by completion of 100 years by 2047. And when you look at when British came to India, and particularly in the 18th century, British came to India, India contributed 23% of world's GDP. But when British left India, the GDP of India was only 4%. But if you look at over a period of 75 years, India's position in the global, it is now emerging as the 5th largest economy, and very near future it is going to be seen as the 3rd largest economy. And India is also expecting to be reaching $5 trillion by 2025 and $10 trillion by 2030. And this is the time for us to showcase our strengths in different fields, name it digitalization of transactions, inclusive growth, healthcare, new education policy, unity and diversity, traditional and historical experiences. It is a time for us to look at what are our strengths. because we have a feeling that we are still developing country, still we are yet to get the permanent Security Council membership. But on the other hand, if you look at what are our strengths, and after completion of 75 years of independence, what we are, where we are, how world views India, how India views world. And this is the time for us to look at that. And also India's credibility was seen by the rest of the world. And the rest of the world is seen India as a reliable partner. India never violates international law or international treaty. And India is looking for multilateral engagement for stability, security and safety and prosperity. And India is the fastest growing nation, and it is rising peacefully without becoming obstacle for other countries rising as economic powers. And India is a consultative society. India is in touch with the key players. India is in a position to reach any country in the world despite being a developing country, whereas developed countries are not in a position to engage with some of the countries in the world. That is the strength where we need to look at how India is seen by the rest of the world in the world. Most of the countries, on the other hand, looking at India's role in different fields, and particularly if you look at in the recent times when you see the conflict between Russia and Ukraine, how India was playing a very important role, and particularly in the recent Delhi declaration of G20, how India was able to bring all the countries together, because in G20 declaration it is very difficult to bring consensus. Unless consensus among the countries, it is very difficult to come out with any policy, and India was able to succeed in that. And recently when you look at it was able to look at that. And also India was also propagating Sagar, that is what you look at, the security growth for all in the region, that reflects our belief in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And also look at how India is contributing to the philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, where we look at India's contribution to GHG emissions was only 3%. Still India is looking at how to address the GHG problem, because the world problem is seen by India's problem. And India is taking initiatives to curb emissions of fossil fuels, because we know very well that 67 to 70% of India's energy is based on the coal-based plants. And that is something where we have to shift our priorities in energy endowments from fossil fuel to non-fossil fuels. Thereby we are talking about the Prime Minister was initiating this International Solar Alliance, where we are trying to connect 140 countries to have a single grid. That's why we are talking about, that's what we are talking about, a single energy grid. And whereby we are going to look at not only 50% of our energy is going to be based on the non-fossil fuels, but also we are helping 140 countries to divert their attention from using fossil fuels to non-fossil fuels, whereby we are going to play a very significant role in mitigating GHG emissions. And also we have shown how we are looking at preach what we practice, or practice what we preach. During tsunami, when we are affected, still we are also looking at the problems in Southeast Asia or in South Asia, and we were able to help them because we look at oneness, one future, one family. That is what we believe, and we have demonstrated. And also in the recent past, when you look at COVID-19, when we are suffering, still we are able to reach 100 countries to supply medicine, because we see that it is not only our problem, we have to look at the welfare of the other continent. And that is what we look at. We strongly believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We look at that oneness is very important, one health or one future. In that sense, we look at, we are looking at how we are situated in the world, where the countries are looking how India is so important for them. That's what earlier the Western countries used to tell us what we should do, but now they are looking at us that what they should do. That's what the situation where we are now. I think this is somewhere we need to look at what are our strengths, how that could be able to make us to understand. Why the Western countries are looking at us? Because we have a stable government. We are also rising peacefully. I also now know Western countries now looking at Kashmir issue. It is not at all an issue between Western countries and India. And we have even the recent issues like Ladakh, Arunachal, Uri, Balkot. It is all giving a message to the people that we are having, or we are able to keep our house in order. And we have to look at the different India or new India, because we are representing 1/6 of old humanity. That's what we need to have speakers, scholars to speak about our strengths and our narratives. I am not here to give a rosy picture, because I understand that we also have problems. If that is the case, then which society doesn't have problem, which country doesn't have problem? And I fully know about that. We are having caste-based politics, parties, religious-based parties, regional-based parties, but still we work together, we talk together, we live together, we grow together, because ours is a consultative society. Because when you look at how we are seen by the rest of the world, in 2014 we demonstrated how we respect international treaty or international law or international court of justice when there was a verdict against India with regard to demarcation of maritime between India and Bangladesh. Most of the water has gone to Bangladesh. Still, there is no obligation on Indian part, but India accepted it. That shows how India is respecting the international treaty. So this is what we look at. This is what our strength. It is not because of that one needs to be a developed country, one needs to be having this veto power in Security Council, but what our strength, which really demonstrated to the globe and how important India for the rest of the world. That's what we look at. And also there is a lack of leadership in the globe, but doesn't mean that leadership means no. We believe that there is no one is superior to us, no one is inferior to us. That kind of the leadership we are looking at. That is what the rest of the world also believe, that India's leadership, because India will not demonstrate being a leader as looking at the superiority or treating someone not on par with India. And this is what we have to navigate our ancient philosophy and civilization. And also it is a time for us to bring to the notice of the globe about Mahatma Gandhi's message of Sarvodaya, welfare of all, or universal brotherhood, or ahimsa. Universal principle can be employed in one's family, in one's society, or in the world. One can create a new world, and we look at what is our strength. It's something where you look at the future is going to depend by, or decide by the youth. Because youth is our future, youth is our hope, youth is our strength. Because youth is going to decide the future of India. While the world is aging, India is becoming young, because the era belongs to youth. 50% of our population is less than average of 29. That's what we have hope on youth who are going to decide the future of India. And this era belongs to India, because we have youth who are going to decide the future of this country. And also we took the presidency of G20 at the time world is witnessing challenges like global supply chain crisis, geopolitical crisis, debt crisis, COVID, and international disorder. But then we demonstrated 2 weeks ago in Delhi Declaration that how we were able to make the countries to come together to have the common consensus or common agreement on different issues. That shows that India is able to be a good negotiator, good consultative mechanism adopted when they are talking to the global leaders. So in conclusion, I look at that how one earth, one family, one future, or disarmament, or Panchashil, or Sagar, or Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, or universal brotherhood. All these are reflected in our philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We need to, this is a time for us to need to navigate our ancient philosophy and our civilization and our approach towards humanity. Being a developing country and without veto power, India is seen as a global power. We are not only rule takers, but also rule shapers and rule makers. Thank you for the patience listening to me.
I thank Professor Raju for a very interesting welcome address. As a renowned scholar in South Asian studies and a person who was the pioneer of maritime studies, his lecture was informed by all his research and experiential knowledge in the field. And he has, talked about two very interesting things. One is, in a very, very neutral and balanced fashion, he has tried to position India within the global economy, and within that he is also looking at the economic development of the country, which is also inspired by the spiritual and the philosophical principles of India. We are not just a part of the rat race trying to become rich and developed, but we are also people who are within the principles of certain celebrated philosophies and ideologies within which he evoked Mahatma Gandhi as well. And the second important thing that he did is to place the onus, the responsibility on the young minds, on all of you, all of us, which is in keeping with the respected Prime Minister's idea of Kartavya Bodh, taking the responsibility of the nation, becoming a part, having a deep sense of belonging. We are honored, sir, to have you here, and we welcome you warmly to this lecture.
Respected Chief Guest, Dr. IP Gautam IAS retired, and respected Director Culture, Professor Rajiv Jain, and Professor Subramaniam Raju, and Dr. Retd Tyagi, and our Finance Officer, Professor Lazar, and Librarian, and all the faculty members, officers, and dear students. Good morning, everyone. Yes. So, many of you may be wondering why this distinguished series. Why suddenly there is a announcement and why it is going on. Maybe you will be wondering. So, it is my honest duty now to introduce the speaker and his credentials. Before I introduce, I would like to also give the importance of this lecture series. That is very important. Then you can easily understand the whatever he is going to talk, and what is the importance of this talk also. So as we know, as already Dr. Retd Tyagi introduced, so this is the distinguished lecture series under Amrit, Kaal-Vimarsh, Viksit, Bharat at 2047. This 2047 may be giving some clue about this, why this talk is very important. Because if you see, the India was ruled by many invaders, and after the independence we thought that we are being ruled by our Indians. Of course we are being ruled by Indians, but the culture and the mindset that they have left us, that is still there. That is the major concern of our younger generation and all Indians. So that is why our Honorable Prime Minister found out that we have to march on, and then we have to leave behind all the inherited colonial thought. So if I ask you, what are the colonial thinking we have? So can any student can tell, sir, this is the colonial thought I have, I see from others. Can anyone say this? Because we are not able to distinguish what I have, which my colonial rulers gave us, which is inherited, which is hindering us growing beyond. So we have imbibed these colonial thoughts. We are, as our Professor Subramaniam Raju mentioned, our GDP was very high when the Britishers entered India, but they have taken away all our wealth. When there was a loss of wealth, absolutely we are worrying only about wealth. Without wealth, we are not able to think about our culture, heritage, growth, all those things. Now we have reached a stage that we have enough wealth. We are, even though 1.4 billion population, we are able to feed them without any problem. So we have now able to handle everything, but we have that colonial mindset, that the slavery mindset. So somebody will come and do this, let us enjoy. This mindset can you able to identify. So when the India is democracy, we are all rulers. We are here to rule, not only India, and all over the world. Thus thought is not still has come and taken in center stage. We are 1.4 billion population, but still that colonial thinking still haunting us. Colonial thinking is controlling us. It's not allowing us to come out and say, I am the king. So this is the reason our rulers thought that we have to go ahead and then revive the minds of the youngsters. You are free from this. You are the ruler of the world now. We have enriched culture. We have everything. We do not need anybody's, whether the kind of hairstyle, whether the kind of dress, whatever we have today. Should we have to have this colonial ruling, or should we have a real heritage for us? Every culture. That is the thought process. This is actually thought process. It is nothing to to feed you. Just think about this. So this is the reason behind this. This program, Amrit, Kaal-Vimarsh, Viksit, Bharat at 2047. With this slavery mindset, with this colonial thought, whatever you are rich, whatever you have is waste. You cannot rule. We cannot show what is real strength. We have a strength, but we are hesitant to come out and do, hesitant to take the center stage. Hesitation is there to do whatever you want. If some of your friends say so, oh, let us leave it, let us enjoy our life, let us go to this, taking the more comfort zone. We are not fighting with our boundaries, especially the youngsters. You are going to be the real future for our future India. That is the reason this a development dialogue in the campus of higher education in India is the reason behind this scheme, and ministry has identified the specialists, the experts who have understood the Indian culture, Indian growth, India well. So because of the understanding, the government has identified some people. So today we are fortunate to have Dr. IP Gautam, the first member of the Lokpal, the appointed by the Supreme Court of India, and as Dr. Ritu Tyagi mentioned, he is an IAS officer of 1986 batch. He is retired now, Gujarat cadre, and he has a rich administrative experience in working with central government as well as the state government at various positions including Vice Chairman and Managing Director of Gujarat Metro Rail Corporation, Municipal Commissioner, Chairman AMC Medical College, and Chief Managing Director of Saparmati Riverfront Development Project, Ahmedabad, etc. So he has a vast experience in working in different projects and a different state as well as the central government projects, and that includes the different Center of Excellence in Transportation of CEPT University Hyderabad. And if you take the academic and education, he has a PhD in urban planning, CEPT University Ahmedabad. So he has a diploma in management from NADT Nagpur. So he has a Bachelor of Law, Lucknow University. He has master degree in from Gorakhpur University, graduation from Gorakhpur University. He has published books, Innovation in Design, published in 2012 along with Professor Sivanand Swami. And then he also published Urban Transport Development, Theory and Practice. So he has published many papers on financing of Sardar Sarovar project, Metro Rail project, on issues on urban governance, transport, urban management, etc. So what I understand is he has vast experience in planning the city. There are many initiatives he was proposed to the central government, and the central government also adopted it, I understand, when I was discussing with him. So he is closely working with our present Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji also. So with this introduction, with this experience and vast knowledge, today let us hear from him. So it is after his presentation, you are free to ask questions both in Tamil as well as Hindi, English, any language. We are here to help you. So this is basically a discussion. So he takes his views on how to go ahead in the future of India, how to plan. He will discuss with you, and then later on we will have a discussion. So with this introduction, now I request Dr. IP Gautam to give his talk. Thank you.
Respected all faculty members, professors, deans, and dear friends. I am here to talk about this larger picture of Amrit, Kaal-Vimarsh, but I'm limited space right now, half an hour. I have selected the urban initiatives of the government. Why I have taken urban initiative of the government? One thing that I work as a municipal commissioner of Rajkot Municipal Corporation. It was 12 lakhs population at that point of time in 91 to 94. Then again I became municipal commissioner of Ahmedabad 2006 to 2011. I created the Sabarmati Riverfront, first of its kind in this country. I was CMD of that company and I implemented. I also implemented first of its kind the 100-kilometer BRT system, bus rapid transit system in this country from 6 to 9. And I am single expert in this country who has made bus-based transit system, created and operated, implemented and operated, and I have also implemented almost 40-45 kilometer of metro railways transport. So basically I am an urban expert. I was appointed as a member Lokpal after my retirement, and then again I completed my tenure I am teaching urban design in one university. I also teach commercial law. I also I am associated with some design, public interface, and innovation. My book, which it was written in 2012, I am teaching to a design institution, National University of Design. That basically, I have seen three era of urban governance in India. If you see how urban development is being dealt with in last 72, 73 years of our independence. First part, 46 years, from 1947 to 1993, unless 74th Amendment are introduced in Parliament in 1993 and passed, urban development was left to grow its own. It was a state subject, and the Urban Department of Government of India was handling few departments like HUDCO for financing, CPWD for constructing central housings, and urban planning department, and few more. And their budgets were also in few hundred, because 91, 94, where we were going to Government of India once in a while, they are only engaged in some seminars and all that. But when data of 2001 census was published in 2000, of course, but data of 91 census was published, then Government of India realized that for 30-35 years where they are working in rural area, and they are saying that we are Bharat Krishi Pradhan Desh hai, India is the rural India is the India. Then they realized that this is no longer true. Either people are going to city, or city is going to people's home. This was realized in 1991-92 after one census figure was published. And then Government of India of that time, they introduced 74th Amendment. You know what 74th Amendment? We have three-tier government. You must have read. It's a constitutional arrangement that block level and state level and central level. This, but urban has no space. By 91-92, we had 30% population in urban sector, but they did not have any say in the governance because they had no tie. So 74th Amendment was a extra annexure schedule was added in Constitution that now the urban municipality is also one tier. Municipality, municipal corporation, and urban local bodies, and then state and then center, like panchayats. The Nagar Panchayat, municipality, municipal corporation became on urban local bodies. And few financial arrangement was made, few delegation was made, but unfortunately for 15-20 years, this delegation which was envisaged in that particular time, which was designed, is never implemented by few state governments because there was no mandate from anyone. Just it was left like that. Again, when 2001 census figure was published, then Government of India in 2001-2 they started feeling that okay, we should enhance the budget for the urban and all that. And by 2003-4 they had lot many new schemes, and 2005 onwards a different outlook was taken, and I mentioned that how it was done. You know, in 2005 present Prime Minister was Chief Minister in Gujarat, and he realized that urban is left out. So he announced in December 2004 that 2005 will be urban year. And lot many schemes were launched, and it was very successful, and the whole country started seeing the outcome, and then it was written by a lot many people, visited by a lot many teams from the other state governments. And by 2005, Government of India at center, they launched a different kind of scheme, but same line linked with reform, that called JNUNRM. And first time state central government has taken a step to enhance the services in the central government in urban areas. Because as per census, maybe 40% people is staying in cities, but more than 10%, 15% some places, they are influencing cities. They are using city services every day and they are going their home. Earlier, when the cycles and scooters were only options, by 2004-05, when these schemes were being drawn, then only 15 to 20 meter radius people are going to cities and using their services and coming back. Now the car and other four-wheelers and all that, its radius is gone 50 kilometer. So it's in bigger cities, the 50 kilometer radius people are having something to do with either supply side or services to cities. So my presentation is very brief, but of course it's this is a census figure, nothing new. That more than 600 million people by 2033 will be in. Means we are reaching around 50% population. They are going to stay in the notified cities. Like if you see Chennai or Pondicherry, notified area is limited. But where I am staying, or if you are going in Pondicherry, 5-6 kilometers from outside the boundaries, there also Pondicherry. You have not counted as a city, but they are also in city. So if you count that area, more than 7 to 800 million population is going to be urban population. This is one scenario. And many bigger villages or Nagar Panchayat, they are city services has entered in the villages, in your household. All facility in the cities. If somebody is not in position to move to city, he is also trying to use the city services at his hometown. So this scenario. So that's why this sector you can't ignore anymore. So I have given all these numbers. You must have seen that India, of course, we are very happy to say, but it's not a satisfactory statement. Just I have put it that still we are way behind China and Mexico and all that. But urbanization is taking place very fast in India. Even crossroads, the national highway is crossing and state highway is crossing. A crossroad, if 10 years back there was only a chai wala or a tea stall or a small dhaba restaurant, now there are 1,000 people are staying on the crossroad. And I'm wondering if the next census, 2031, that will be a urban accommodation. So this is the pace of the urbanization in India. Issue as per the urban census, what this in census the figure, we have estimated a sort of more than 19 million houses. 70% urban population was covered by individual water connection, but rest were left out. Duration of water supply in certain city in India is 20 minutes, at a maximum is 6 hours. Open drain system and that open defecation and transportation, air quality, all kinds of problems are noticed and documented. What urban services, because it's I'm talking to you people, we may not be, if you are staying in city, you are not staying in city. That's why I have listed what kinds of services urban local body is giving, like water supply, sewage, health, sanitation, solid waste, construction of streets and maintenance of roads, etc., flyover, bridges, fire prevention, medical health services, traffic management, this urban transport system, affordable housing, benchmarking of survey, property tax, primary education, secondary education, markets, managements, park garden, tree plantation, water body management. Of course, in India, one thing we have done that most of the water bodies now are now converted into housing societies, 70-80%. If your fathers and they must be talking that there was lake something, now it's all housing societies in bigger town, and slowly we are eating it up, and we are every time, every flood, every cyclone, every problem, we are saying that this something has gone wrong, and this is climate change. It's not a climate change; it's man-made disaster. You are making. You are closing all the waterways. You are closing all the natural drain, and you are constructing and constructing. So this and there is no mechanism to check this illegal construction or unauthorized construction or constructions which are sustainable or designed which are sustained with the environment. Or these the services, and this from state to state, like Maharashtra and Gujarat, other than home department, policing, every services with the municipal corporation. As a municipal commissioner, I was also chief fire officer of IG fire, inspector. No police officer was fire officer. We were handling fire, we are handling disaster, and every inch of the land belongs to municipal corporation in the area, even roads. Once the boundary mark will be outside the boundary mark, the road will be given to PWD. Other roads are maintained by and owned by a municipal corporation. So in certain services, certain departments, because 74th Amendment was not implemented honestly, because it's a very, very, very useful tool for political bosses to keep control over municipal bodies. If they are transferring the finance and power to implement the schemes in urban area, then their say will be minimized. That's why it was not implemented in many of the states. Initiative taken by Union government for 4 to 14, when the data of census was became public, then Union government has taken. Earlier their budget was 200, 100, 300, 500 crore. But this, when I was municipal commissioner 91, 94, even it's very meager. Very meager. We were coming only for a seminar and some kind of talk, and this kind of best practices system was there. That ministry once upon a time they will hire a good auditorium and call every municipal commissioner of the country 600, 700, and then they will have a 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions for best practices, and then so on. They did not have any budget. But first time in JNNURM, they given an outlay of more than 6,000 crore for 5 years, and but the limitation was only 65 cities were selected as a mission city, and few more later on added. But we have more than 500, 600 cities. Only 65 cities may not make difference, but there were many improvement. And first time in the country, there were emphasis for reforms, that you reduce your stamp duty, you go for a double entry books keeping, you have a proper account system, proper auditing system, some manpower mechanism. Something was initiated, well-meaning initiatives were taken. Fortunately, in 2006, I became municipal commissioner, and we were few experienced hand at that point of time. We also invited to write many manuals at that point of time. When Dr. O.P. Agrawal has written this first urban transport policy of this country, 2006, I was one of the members, fortunately. So that was the time that many initiatives were taken, and that is taken for 5-6 years. But as I'm saying that, however, the scheme of January was first initiative for its kind, open an era for reform in the urban sector. But what happened? That states were asked to first go for reform and then claim the money. Few told, we will not go for reform. Suppose they are getting 500 crore after doing all this, and if they are reducing their stamp duty and they are losing 600 crore, they are saying no, we will not go. So something were not very convincing to few state government, but few city took this system and they got benefit. Then now same, but they had one drawback. They have two missions: housing for housing another mission, and for urban development another mission. And similar kind of a scheme initiative for this urban housing, SJSRY, was Shahri Swant Jayanti Shahri Rozgar Yojana was initiated, and there was skill development, there was self-help group, there were many other things. But since two missions were there, one chief secretary in morning, one mission was calling and another mission was, both were asking for reform. And the reform were quite, it was first time and it was quite timeline based, and most of the state could not follow the timeline. That's why the 100% benefit was not taken, and only 30% project was completed, rest was hanging, and that was taken over by new government. But new government, what they did, that whatever you have done in JNURM, and if something is hanging, something incomplete, you can complete under these schemes. So they have given a few thousand crore in all these city of JNURM, that you complete your schemes and follow the reforms. But this kind of initiative was taken. You all heard, for first time of its kind in Swachh Bharat mission, it was announced from the Lal Killa in 2014, and then Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Urban Livelihood Mission, heritage city, first time the heritage was recognized by Government of India that this has to be preserved for future generation. And a scheme came, then Smart City Mission, Atal Mission. It's a very large, it has very large impact on the urban area, and not only urban, the urban, now they have included the urban development authorities and even the town areas, and the area which are nearer to closer to the villages and Nagar Panchayat, closer to municipal corporation, they have also extended. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Atal Mission 2 and Swachh Bharat Mission 2. I will go for each one slide for each one, just a very brief. Swachh Bharat Mission launched on 2nd October 2014. It was announced on 15th October 14, but launched on first time of its kind and scale. And everyone was appealed by the Government of India, especially the Prime Minister of the country has taken a lead, and it has a long lasting impact on the society, and especially women fold of the society. And we have seen our schools, and we have seen our time when how things were there, and slowly, and this was not even concerned, the scheme is implemented, if you say it's a 90%, 10%, 20%, but first time in this country, people started feeling that in school there should be a toilet. There in village, in that some kind of public places there should be a toilet. There should be some facility in the common place. This was not a concern at all. In 50 years of our governance, 60 years of governance, we did not have a concern. So at least the people started, the people in government, people in education system, people in the general administration system, in all this sphere, this scheme has touched upon, and a general consensus that no, there has to be some kind of arrangement. And money was also given by Government of India, and in this particular scheme, every government in this country has joined hand, and they realized, yes, this was left out area, and let's take this opportunity to get some money from center, put your own money, and they created some infrastructure. I don't know how positions are maintenance, but it's started. And it's being taken care that how now government has started a rating system, that how they're being maintained and all that. That is another part they have started in two. The outlay of mission was 62,000 crore, and mission objective that you have, you know better, elimination of open defecation, eradication of manual scavenging and lot mining, solid waste management and all that. One also that the people, those who are going inside the gutter and all that, in sewage system, they should be avoided. It should be completely mechanized. And it was, I never even imagined that one day somebody will think of this small thing, but the scheme has invested, this covered all this, and this being implemented. Deen Dayal Antoye Yojana, this is also one of the 1 lakh crore scheme, and it's being implemented now. It's under implementation, and another this outcome since 2014-15 till 30th November I have data, more than 13 lakhs urban poor have been imparted skill training to enhance their implementability, and which more than 6.78 lakh trained have placed under self wages or employment. Lot many things are being done, and it is being extended due to this COVID. I think that implementation was very slow in 2 years. That's why it's being this heritage. As I told you, the heritage management was never been on agenda of the government, but the government, national government, state government, and city government all have been asked to look into their heritage. You know, it's a few of you or your parents must be going abroad or somewhere in Europe or other places. Very small monuments, and the city or village or town become the tourist destination. We were completely ignored these particular aspects, and good that government has taken initiative, and now people are also taking the initiative. Of course, surrounding Pondicherry, and Pondicherry itself heritage city, and around you lot many heritage structures. I visited in 1981 as 1982 as a professional. So I have special love for this particular region, for their heritage, for their temples, for their lot many cultural centers. This Atal Mission 1, this Atal Mission is basically rejuvenation of the urban transformation. It's complete, all kinds of infrastructure is undertaken, and first outlay was 1 lakh crore, central share was 50,000 crore, and this is in all states and union territory, and it's not very strict like Genuaram. It's a stage-wise reform, because if you have not taken reform for 50 years, 60 years, or even 70 years of independence, if overnight somebody is asking that you do this, then you take money, then this may not work. That's why they have gone for stage-wise reforms, and this scheme is working quite well. Smart city mission, that smart city, it's also talked about a lot. Many people have written why smart city. Smart cities, certain cities were there, like in many cities and smaller cities, they are maintaining well. They have a good architecture in their cities. They had a lot many development taken. Then this scheme was 100 cities. They were identified on the basis of the competition. More than 600 cities were in that, and there was competition, and those passed in that competition, more than 100 cities were taken as a smart city, and 720,000 crore were the budget for that. It's a huge amount, and lot many things were developed in that, in 100 cities of this country, and still this scheme is on. Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, this is there was a target that every household, every poor should be given housing by 2022, but due to these 2 years of COVID, I think it may take another 3-4 years to go, because its scheme is under implementation, and they have 2 lakh crore central assistance in that, and states are also taking lot many interest in this. Now, because Atal Mission 1 was completed, Atal Mission 2 is started on 1st October 21, and this outlay is 2,77,000 crore, including central share of 76,000 crore. So this also, it's basically a state water action plan is also included, but every household has to be connected by water supply, piped water supply in 500 Amrit city. So this scheme is in addition to earlier Amrit 1. Swachh Bharat Mission 2, in this particular city now, the 3-star garbage free certification and certain audit are to be taken that what you have done earlier and whether maintenance is there or not, or again that all the toilets are closed and people are using surrounding. These all things are incorporated in this scheme, and this is ongoing. This will continue for another 5 years. What is institutional mechanism in that? The national level, then state level and ULB level. It's not more concerned about you, but you should know that how things happen. And this is also indirectly saying state government that you implement 74th amendment, which was, it's very, sometimes it's look very odd that after 20 years, somebody has to write a letter that you have not implemented 74th constitutional amendment. You know, every day they talk about constitutional amendment for this, that, whatnot. And when it was done in 1973, many clauses are yet to be implemented by state government. But this mechanism has been given, and this is also indirectly to implement the constitutional amendment. You know, it's another 20 years to go, and lot many gaps will be there. Second thing, we are very good in capital expenditure in India, but we are very bad in maintenance. Once we construct something, maintenance is quite poor. We do not have that mindset to maintain our own building, our own toilet, our own office, and we also always look for some, but there are many mechanisms are coming, and we were trying that. In coming 20 years, the only, not only, you can't create every time a capital, you can't create every time a facility, you have to maintain well. So that in next 20 years, they are planning to fill up the gaps and maintain, improve the system which was created on, you know how this urbanization taken place in India. You put 30 years maximum money. You know, I was district magistrate in Baroda, 3,000 square kilometer was washed away and 5 towns have gone. When I went to Government of India, the team came, so I requested them that, sir, you also look into the these towns, they have lost their houses, they have lost their road, they have lost everything, the power stations and all. They told that we don't have anything. We in disaster, we only give you money in agriculture and rural development. What we did, 30 years, from 75 to almost 30 years, we emphasized on only rural development because we were staying in villages. And whatever surplus was generated by rural area, it came in, quietly it came in a city. And a gutter line which was only meant for 200 people, a vertical, 20,000 people started staying there. It collapsed. So this happened because we did not plan. So now what tools are there to improve your city? That urban plan, you plan well, and before planning you go for a gutter line, you go for a sewage system, you go for treatment. You are thinking that your rivers are perennial. When we were in schools like you, all rivers are having full of water. Now there is no river, only gutter, because we have killed all rivers quietly and in planned manner. It's not like that you are not knowing the result, but it happened. So this is time the most of the schemes are taken to tackle this. Now I am coming for urban transportation is also agreed. You know, in India, one gentleman, his name is Sridharan, he has done miracles. A single man has created DMRC metro facility. and he also met many chief ministers that you start a metro. Somehow with his attempt, persuasion, in first 10 years, around 100 kilometer metro was approved till 2010, 12-13. But in last 10 years, government has really worked hard. In last 10 years, medium cities are also covered, 12 medium cities are covered. They have put 700 kilometer new lines of metro, including 2 expansion in Chennai, including medium cities, and this expenditure is 2,03,000 crore. And they have approved another 750 kilometer lines of expansion in the similar city like Bombay, Delhi, and Lucknow, Kanpur, many cities. It's costing more than 2,22,000 crore. Central assistance for electric buses, central assistance for introducing and operating PPP model. Now slowly we have to have electric buses, or the buses are the four-wheeler which are having less pollution. So this is the way forward. How to go, that speed of construction we have to increase. All these missions, whatever we have announced or implemented in last 5-6 years, we have to enhance the outlay and capacity to implement furthermore for coming 20-30 years, and our environment has to be improved in coming days, because unless your development is connected with environment, nothing will happen. So that's why this coming 10 years is going to be more challenging, and when census figures will be available, government is going to they have to do more and more intervention in urban area to get this city to a developed level in 2047. Thank you very much.
I've always felt that gratitude is a very, very powerful emotion, because it makes you very satisfied, because you are able to see how numerous forces come together, numerous people come together to make events and things happen. And you also get a feeling that you are not a standalone, you are a part of a bigger force, a bigger community. So it emphasizes that sense of community, and I certainly have numerous people to thank today, starting from our distinguished invitee, Dr. Gautam, who gave a very interesting lecture on urbanization, which was informed of course by his experiential knowledge as a person who has been part of different ministries, who has efficiently achieved numerous urbanization projects, but also as a researcher. He is a person who has completed his PhD in urban development from CPET University in Ahmedabad, and is somebody who is still teaching urban planning. His lecture took us through urban planning in a very interesting way, looking at how India evolved from a society, from a nation which focused more on rural and could not avoid with years entering into urbanization, and brings us to the present moment where we need to rethink urbanization in interesting ways and see what kind of challenges urbanization is throwing on us, looking at areas, nearby areas like the condition of Chennai during the flood, the fact that builders are building on lakes, etc., not forgetting the fact that we are faced with climate change. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation, for your precious time that you have given to us, and precisely for bringing out some very important points during your lecture and during the time of his interaction with the students, where he emphasized on the power of democracy and how the responsibility of choosing the right person stays with all of you. I cannot not mention the glorious personality, our Vice Chancellor, our most revered and honored Vice Chancellor, who happens to be out of town, otherwise he would have been here with us. A strong pillar of support for the past 5-6 years, who has in fact built up the university in numerous ways. Our thanks goes out to him too. The person second in command, our beloved Director of Studies, Professor Tarani Karasu, who has taken up, who's been serving in this post as Director of Studies and had been very, very supportive, a very humble person whose dedication is exemplary. I would also like to express my deep sense of gratitude to Director Culture of Pondicherry University, Professor Rajiv Jain, who again is a very decent and humble person who has been supporting us in all the endeavors in whichever way possible. He is somebody who is part of all the programs, supporting and encouraging us. Thank you, sir, for your presence here and for encouraging us. I would also like to place on record my thanks for Professor Subramaniam Raju, who has been, who's a distinguished scholar in his field and who's also been serving the university in the capacity of Dean International Relations and has facilitated numerous exchanges, numerous MOUs, and who also has, efficiently taken care of this program as a coordinator and an organizer. Thank you, sir. I cannot forget the technical team and other staff from the administration who had facilitated this event by providing us practical support, the mic systems and the preparation of the room, etc. Last and not the least, I have to thank everyone who is present here, including our esteemed guests and hosts in a way, our celebrated finance officer and librarian sir, the other faculty members, and most of all the students who are present here. This is an event, if you have noticed, organized only for all of you, to give you a sense of belonging, a sense of understanding of the developmental policies, in order not just to celebrate some of the policies and schemes, but also to analyze. Thank you all for your presence and for asking very interesting questions.